Welcome back. We seem to be hearing about peptides more and more. They're the building blocks of the body that control things like our hunger, our mood. And through decades of science, we've uncovered ways to use them to change our bodies.
Examples of peptides include insulin and cutting-edge medicines used for weight loss. But there is a darker side to the drug, with unregulated and illegal kinds being sold over social media for things like rapid muscle growth and anti-ageing. And for more, we are joined now by one of the world's leading researchers on peptides, Dr. Jonathan Long from Stanford University. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So walk us through this. We can basically split peptides into regulated and unregulated. Some of them are straight out of a sci-fi movie, but what can you tell us about those differences?
Sure. So peptides can be medicines. For example, insulin and GLP-1 are approved to be safe and efficacious for the treatment of certain disease. On the other hand, as you mentioned, there are also all sorts of other peptides that people are selling and purporting to be good for your health, for your immune system, for your brain, for your metabolism, but they're unregulated because they have not been shown to be safe and efficacious for humans.
So this is sort of where the confusion come in, because, you know, we hear peptides and everyone says, oh, don't let your teenagers take it. What sorts of things are people using unregulated peptides for, and what are some of those dangers?
So some of these unregulated peptides include molecules like BPC, MOTC, and people are saying that these are good for recovery, for fat loss, for growing muscle, for brain health, for sleep, for mood. But as I mentioned, these other unregulated peptides have not been shown to be safe, and they have not been shown to be efficacious by, for example, the FDA in the United States or by the TGA here in Australia.
So obviously, you know, you've spent so much time looking into this. Definitionally, I mean, it must be a bit of a frustration that there are some good ones here, but they all sort of get lumped under this same umbrella, don't they?
That's absolutely right. And I think the term peptides is a catch-all that takes into account both things that are real medicines, as you mentioned, like insulin, GLP-1, as well as many, many other experimental molecules where the best data that we have are only from mice and rats, and essentially we don't really know anything about what they're doing in people.
Okay. Tell us about some of your research where you've used animals like pythons and how they could help us learn about weight loss.
So we have been studying Burmese pythons. These are animals with extreme feeding and fasting behaviors. They can go a whole year without eating, and when they do eat, they can eat 100% of their body weight in a single meal. The reason that we're studying these extreme animals is because one of the first GLP-1 medicines ever approved did not come out of a laboratory, but instead came from a Gila monster, which is a desert reptile. And so we think that there might be other peptides that are out in nature that remain to be discovered amongst all these extreme animals and reptiles.
You've described peptides as this next frontier in human health, essentially. What do you see as these possibilities for peptides?
Well, I think currently, in the current landscape, what GLP-1 medicines tell you, and these are a class of peptide medicines, is that you can start to manipulate human physiology beyond what we naturally can do. Now, GLP-1s are mostly used for weight loss, but I think it's an exciting frontier that there might be other peptides for other things. Now, the current unregulated peptides won't get us there, but I think the possibility is there, and we'll still need more research and more science before we can figure out those that actually work in people.
What do you say to people, particularly those teenagers that I mentioned before, but it's not only teenagers, that are buying them unregulated online and thinking, oh, that's just going to make me look really built? What would you say to them? I
think you should treat peptides as drugs. They can be very good if you have a disease and if they've been shown to be safe and if they've been shown to work. On the other hand, many of them are experimental. We don't know what happens in people. We don't know what you're going to be putting inside you when you inject one of these peptides. And so I think it's a very, very dangerous thing to be taking unregulated peptides on the black market.
Well, Jonathan Long, we thank you for your time this morning and your expertise. Cheers.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, really interesting.